and wonderful. So thank you, David, and thank you, Rorschach, and also thanks to, although she's not here, Sue Burge, who was my introduction to you all. So that's great. And when I was trying to work out what to read, because I know, David, you asked if I had a theme, I thought, well, I don't know any of you, and I then decided that the one thing that we all have in common was you all had parents at some stage and families of sorts. So for better or worse, I thought I'd keep it around that. I often write in the first person, but as everyone knows, poetry lies. And this is an autobiography, although often poems are kick-started from things that happened. So I'm going to start with, hold on, something's gone funny with my screen. I'm going to start with one from, I've got two pamphlets which were collaborations with Nine Pens, which I did with Vasiliki Albedo and Simon Madrell, all about our mothers and all about our fathers. I'm going to start with all about our mothers. And so just for you to know that my mother was born and grew up in Guyana. And I think part of her never really left there. So the art of daydreaming. My mother gazes beyond the garden, a capuchin in the rhododendron. She hears tree frogs in the ticking of the grandfather clock. My mother has sugarcane blood, is made of mango. She's pineapple, dresses in laughter, passes darkness to her big-boned daughter to wear. Sometimes my beautiful mother sings as she peels potatoes. Her voice is alto. When she tries soprano, she's a spider monkey. My beautiful mother's rings are loose on her fingers. She believes rubies and gold will bring her good luck. She likes to lose herself in dreams. And had I not gone to that Almodovar film that I didn't enjoy, I'd have answered her call, not heard her voice later, too late to return, naming me in her sing-song way, as if saying goodbye. Sometimes we just get it wrong. That night, I was too big-boned dumb. By next morning, my beautiful mother is wading back to childhood, ankle deep in warm rain. My mother is an Amazonian water lily, afloat on dark water. Her petals unfurl like paper decoration. She doesn't see the caiman's amber eyes waiting, a green anaconda dangling from a branch, the harpy eagle that'll soar her to the canopy's green mantle. My mother doesn't like green. Her breathing is the ocean. She is rushing in to pause on the Demerara silt shore, then rushing out to rejoin the horizon. Her waves are thrashing the seawall. She's wearing foam lace, ribboning the air with clouds that shapeshift, a turning electric blue. My mother is now sky. So my parents were married for over 60 years, but for the last dozen or so years, my father had dementia, which changed him from being a super organized, energetic Renaissance kind of man to someone who was losing his keys over winding clocks and generally losing it. And it's probably what killed my mother. So he carried on for a few years longer, physically fit and strong, and died in his 90s. And my sisters and I would take turns to look after him when the carer had time off. So this one is letting go. I didn't want to give my father a bath. He didn't want it either. Why don't you have a bath? He said and pushed me into the water, his hand behind my head. I didn't want to change wet sheets. Heard the crash of him falling, but finished bundling the covers, found him in a heap at the foot of the stairs. He said he was fine. I called the paramedics. He tried to bite them. They grew more concerned about me than him. I said I was fine. I don't know why he used to frighten me. These days, he's a child I don't want to have to look after. I put him in a home to go on holiday. On my return, he has broken ribs, pneumonia. I take him to hospital, read him poems about letting go. His eyes stay shut under a frown. A nurse sits down on the other side, suggests I take him home, make a bedroom on the ground floor. I speak across him. I can't understand why he's holding on. as if he's forgotten we all go sometime. The nurse said, "You know he's listening." I knew he was listening. And I know that doesn't reflect very well on me, but I think at some level he was just worried about leaving my sisters and me, and I was very fond of him. Anyway, I've had many careers, including being a psychotherapist. And so now for a couple of poems concerning another part-time career, me as shepherdess. So I'm going to read from this book. My youngest has a small farm of about 300 to 400 Barbados black belly sheep. And if you don't know what they are, you can Google them. In a nutshell, they're very beautiful with features so fine that some people think they're a kind of deer. In fact, sheep are descended from antelope. Now, Barbados black-bellied sheep don't need shearing or lambing as they self-shed and self-birth. And they're very intelligent. In the evenings, in the setting sun, they race and jump around the field. So the pamphlet forms a background to a stuttering relationship I was in, which was very briefly alluded to. And also so I'm just going to read a couple from here. They're just sonnet length. The first relates to the Lyrids, and if you don't know what a meteor shower is, it occurs in mid-April, and the sky at the farm has obviously it's got no pollutants, and it somehow seems so much bigger than skies anywhere else. And the only other thing to know is that I do refer to the sound Om, which is included in yoga or meditation, and is said to be the primordial vibration of the universe, the first sound of creation. So here is the Lyrids. I leave you asleep and creep to the yard, bare feet in boots and the entire universe above. It's the night of a meteor shower. I'm waiting for the dazzling display of shooting stars and the lyric harp, for this dark to be alive with light, but stillness comes when we least want it, and only the animals stir. I flash my torch over their field, ablaze with eyes, as if Ares has fallen to earth, and the silence grows Greek chorus loud from their bleating. So much expression from just one sound. I move away humming. The sheep go quiet. What if you and I only spoke using Om? And the next one is going to be the title poem of that collection, of that pamphlet, which is What the Sheep Taught Me. All day I have watched the ewes, trying to see as they do everything at once. I think best sequentially. It's getting towards evening. The sheep know this too. They're starting their sunset chorale of the field perimeter, practicing for the national, leaping like antelope, even the large one bearing triplets. She soars over the electric fence. She's made of spring. All those fences I could have jumped. I take a run. The shock sends me flying. So and thanks to Diana Cant, who very kindly reviewed that pamphlet. So anyway, now on to the pamphlet which came out this summer from Broken Sleep, which is the elimination game. I'm going to read a few from here, and this is the opening poem, Growing a Face. Years back, I'd count how long old people would pause before they could answer a question. Skin falling in folds as they spoke, eyes watery, marked in red pen. I'd wonder why they grew so bent, as if trying to touch the ground, why they sat so long, had they lost the will to run? Why they didn't open windows, what they still found fun. Once I asked Great Aunt Maud why she drew lines on her face. She laughed. Once workmen whistled and called, "Cheer up, love, might never happen." So as you can gather, this pamphlet takes a wry look at aging and attitudes toward aging and the experience of being old. I became very interested in this when I was doing my psychology degree and wrote my finals project on the experience of aging in independent old women, maybe wanting to know what I'd be letting myself in for. And so the next poem is entitled, and so obviously it's a time for reflection among many other things. And the next poem, because I'm talking to an mainly American audience, is entitled Woodstock. I didn't actually go to Woodstock. Well, I did, but some years later. But I was inspired to write it after seeing the Biennale exhibition in Venice in 2019, and in particular the work of Jitish Kalat. Woodstock, after Jitish Kalat. Tomorrow, I'm going back to Yaska's farm. Smoky grass, music flattening trees, whale sound, cinnamon candles, and a coal-eyed girl in a purple caftan, flowered peace band circling long hair. Cross-legged, she sits among beautiful people, 500,000 strong. Did they all become accountants? I turn pages and pages of the battered journal. Even my writing has changed. Last week at the Biennale, I stood in a doorway, in words projected onto mist. Become who you are. But just as songs rocked a town, I contain multitudes. Tomorrow, we're off to find one we left behind. And you could probably probably heard the Whitman reference at the end there. So another aspect of aging is to watch if you're lucky enough to have children as I am, I've got 3 wonderful children, to see them have their own families. And that is wonderful too, of course. Although, if I'm honest, I didn't find the transition to grandmotherhood that easy, or maybe I've become more anxious or imaginative as I've grown older. And I should add at this stage that, I think I said right at the beginning here, that I've got a daughter who lives in Paris, so her boys are French and English. This might appeal to those of you who know Paris. The grandmothers. A cluster of Parisian grandmothers, fakely blonde or black-haired, are elegantly chatting and laughing, a half eye on their grandchildren. And the playground is full of high-pitched "Mamie" and "Grand-mère." I'm digging nails into palms, following my child's children, scaling spider ropes designed for big boys, but they're not, and they're at the top. I can see the little one falling, blood pouring, eyes unblinking, the other grandmothers staring shocked, and me barely speaking their language. I want to ask, if I came here daily, would I ease into role, or are they secretly stabbing palms with their scarlet nails? I call to the boys, let's go, and they fly off on scooters, narrow pavements, buses, car horns. They're laughing, I'm running. Then we're back up 6 floors, no lift, supper, bath, endless stories, books mostly in French. I wake to their gentle breathing. What is the language of dreams? Soon my daughter will open the door, a waft of cigarette, perfume, wine. She'll ask, did you have a fun time? I'll say, yes, everything was fine. So I'm not sure where this next one came from. The General's Widow. The world sees only her public look, pearls and smiles. But when he dies, she locks the door and busies herself on their once shared bed, now covered with a pink satin spread. She's making a cast of her husband's head, paints it red to adorn the mantel shelf, replace those snaps of his sons and himself. Later, she smells his cigars in the air as she sits at noon in his fireside chair, contemplating her scarlet masterpiece. The funeral's over, such a relief. She'll spend the night making paper planes, hurl them at his eyes, nose, and brains. This next one actually came from an advertisement I saw for Psycho Tango. I was on my way back from the dentist, and it's called Why I'm Signing Up for Psycho Tango. Music comes from the bandstand in the park. Posters on trees advertise dance as therapy. Sometimes I regret not learning the tango. Betjeman said he regretted not having more sex. Most men I meet are impotent by 60. It's the age people concentrate on close bonds with dentists and doctors. My dentist holds me steady to enter my mouth. If I had the wisdom of trees, I'd see 60 as young. The poster says tango is a conversation between bodies, psychoanalysis and tango, twins of longing and desire for connection. My foot taps to the music. I watch a man and woman, two strangers, arms flung open, walk towards each other, sway, lean close, pull away, reconnect. Cross legs, side step, corkscrew, hold the gaze. It's starting to rain. They keep dancing. A white-haired man in a long blue coat shoots me a glance. If you can walk, you can dance. It's all slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, he says, and slowly moves on. I hurry after. Shall we give it a go? So I'm going to close with one I wrote more recently, which is not in any of these pamphlets. My sister died a year ago, just before I went to Finland on a month's residency. So before I read this, I just want to thank you all for listening and being so great, and for David for organising this. And as David said, I'm part of the Red Door Poets, and we have live online readings and interviews, so you can check that out on our Facebook page. And also the poetry journal that David very kindly mentioned, The Alchemy Spoon. Submission window opens tomorrow, so send your poems in. The theme is music. So anyway, thank you, David, and all you other readers and all of you listening. And here's my closing poem. How to Write Her Name in Air. This is moose country, bear country. Sometimes distance is necessary. A residency that's spongy underfoot with spent leaves, blueberries, lingonberries, wood sorrel, reindeer moose, moss, and so many fungi. Some you eat, then die. A woodpecker hammers my thoughts. Meditation's not working. I concentrate on the birch leaves, how they tremble and flutter till they no longer hold on. Like her one purpose, to keep going. Once I saw her striding up the high street to return Christmas cards he didn't like. Her twisted brows held back tears. I said, send them anyway. She shook her head. Over coffee later, she showed me the replacement ones, fiddled with her rings. I breathed myself back to the woods. Mist is starting to veil the autumn light. I gazed through trees at the orange sinking sun, swans silhouetted, gliding to a black lake. We're just two now. I play with the word sister, writes, tears, sit, tries, resist, ire, rises, rests. What is or was a sister? Ash can't answer. A scattering gun would distribute her around the cherry tree. Very Chekhov. Three sisters together one last time. Will light sparklers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. If you don't mind, I leave the recording running to get any comments on your work included in it. So everyone, please unmute your mics, and we're gonna feel free to comment and clap and whatever. I love this work about your mother that you began with, and how you describe her as passing darkness to her big bone daughter.
Yeah, that's me.
She likes to lose herself in dreams. My mother is an Amazonian water lily. Wow, her breathing is the ocean. These metaphors are strong as mountains. Uh, and in another poem, you go into shooting stars and a lyric harp. And this line, this image, uh, as if Ares had fallen to earth and the silence grows Greek chorus loud. Oh my God, how evocative that is. How complete a poem in itself. even. By the way, it was Sue Burge that I quoted as my English friend who said she'd been rejected by the Bridport Prize 20 years running. That was actually Sue Burge who said that. So interesting. She used to come here when she could. Um,
She's won many other prizes.
yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the
You
way
got
you're.
me. Sorry, David.
No, go right ahead.
No, I was going to say you got me hooked there, Mary, when you came up with the line, "My mother has sugarcane blood." Uh, that is just something that that sometimes a line comes to you and you don't know where it comes from. It just pops in your head, but it's kind of like nails it. Somehow, so it's spot on. I love that. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Did I get it right? That line, "My mother is waiting back in childhood."
Wading back to childhood.
Uh,
You know how you wading, wading back
okay.
to childhood. Yeah.
Sorry for putting an American accent on you.
No, it's okay. It's probably hard for you to hear. My voice must sound a bit strange to your ears. I don't know.
No, no, I know that English people exist.
You
Thank you.
better
Thank
watch
you.
out, William. You may be outnumbered on here. I'm not sure.
Very,
Um,
very, very universal, Mary. My dad also had the same dementia, and
Oh, thank
and
you.
the time and all that. I get
Yeah,
it. I was very strong like that. Uh,
yeah, it's
very
hard.
universal today.
Mary, even your titles are short poems that are so complete in themselves. Growing a face. Holy word of God. How to write her face in air. Uh, just outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
Thank you. Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Please feel free to comment.
Thank you so much, Mary. It was so wonderful to hear you recite your work for us. So thank you for that. I'm happy to hear you read.
Thank you so much. It's a real, as I say, it's a real honor and privilege to be able to read to you all and to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a wonder to have been introduced to your work. Uh, I'm sure it opened a lot of minds and hearts here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just looking at the comments. Some lovely comments. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording for you.